we are going to be talking all about anticipatory grief. And we have a whole episode on this already, but I think it's important to bird's eye view it,
Okay.
right? Because we're now 5 years in it. We've had multiple discussions about it. We've heard different stories about it. And now we're going to tell the tale.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with the definition because I think it gets.
Yeah, please do. Do you need your cult glasses?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I could give like the real definition, like Google it.
Yeah,
but I think
give
it's
us the
better
Rachel.
to give
Yeah.
the remember me definition. And when I think of anticipatory grief, I think it's better to give a situation versus like a textbook, dictionary.
Please.
Anticipatory grief is waiting for the phone call. I think that's the best way to describe it. You're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for the doctor to deliver the news. You're waiting for it's the waiting. It's the period
next
of time.
Drop in or the
Yes.
next behavior or the
Yes.
yeah.
And if you throw in the word grief, which is we all know is grief, you're waiting to grieve. And I think something that's so peculiar about anticipatory grief is you're grieving, but you're waiting to grieve
More.
fully,
Harder. Okay.
more intensely.
Okay.
This can also coincide to grieving somebody who's still alive. So they're kind of one and the same in my book. Maybe not in David Kessler's book.
Okay.
Okay.
This is just Rachel's.
Thank you. God, I don't just get just Rachel. I get mom.
Okay.
So what makes FTD so difficult, horrendous, I mean,
There's so many.
yeah, fill in the blank, is that the anticipatory grief revolves around losing somebody in their personness, right?
But they're still physically here.
They're still their body is here, but they have become, who was it? Somebody once said like a church going father. It was the girl with the brain donation.
yes.
Remember, you really liked her.
At UCI Mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
they once did this and now they do that. Yeah.
They once went to church every Sunday, now they're gambling.
Yeah.
Like it's such a flip in personality. And I think that's what people who have encountered FTD or work with FTD or study FTD, I think that's what they want to shout from the rooftops is like, this isn't just grandma forgetting to turn the burner off.
Right.
Like this is people in their prime becoming flipping. Like it's not even becoming something different. It's turning their entire personhood into something that it never was.
Right.
So there are two things at play. You're anticipating the death, but you're anticipating also like how much worse could this possibly get?
Anticipating more doom.
Right. So I remember like you said it, I think in the first or second episode, where you pull up to the house and you're like, what's waiting for me in there? I think that's a perfect example of anticipating something. And I think grief is tricky because it's such a prominent feeling. It's overwhelming. It takes over the days and the weeks and all of that. So you're holding that grief, but you're also waiting to grieve the end,
which is a whole other ballgame.
And then you're grieving the person that is changing, and then you're grieving the way your relationship is with them, and you're grieving. So it's just a constant state of grief. But it's also grief that hasn't even happened yet. And I think you're waiting to see what that's going to feel like. Like, when this ends, what am I going to do? Am I going to feel relief? Am I going to feel sad? Am I going to feel lonely? Am I going to feel nothing because I've let all my grief out?
Can I ask you a question?
Do you want my glasses?
So something that's different about my journey as it relates to this is that it was relatively short.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 years. Like, how does someone live in that anticipatory grief state for like 10 plus years?
They don't.
Like, it just becomes a part of your daily.
Remember, like, I don't know, 2 months ago where I wasn't eating and
Yeah.
I wasn't sleeping? I don't know. Is that like a repercussion?
Mm.
I think when
It's like a
you're,
state of
yeah,
trauma.
yeah.
Like, you know?
I think too, like, we're talking real here,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yes.
okay. There was a part of me when my dad was alive that, like, I wanted him to die.
Mm.
You know, I wanted him to be done with this and I wanted him to be rid of this disease. And selfishly, I don't want to do it either. I wanted it to be done. So I think that would like weave into the sadness and like the tense feelings I would feel. I still do. It's such a habit. It's like so ingrained in me now. I would take my phone into the shower because what if I got the call?
Mm.
I would have
You
my
still
phone.
do it.
I still do it. It's a habit now. And it becomes part of you. You learn how to stay in this ready, set, go,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And you have to unlearn all of it. Like, there's no threat to me right now. My phone's not going to ring, and I'm not going to, I mean, sure, it could happen. My kid could fall at school. There's
Okay.
always
Okay.
that.
We're not gonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, like, I know. But, like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting. 10 years is a really long time to have such a weight on your shoulders. And it never really went away. Like I would think, okay, we're gonna go on a family vacation. I'll be removed. No,
No, it's with you all the time.
all the time.
Wherever you go.
Right. So you asked how does somebody live with it? Well, I just did. I didn't have a choice. I couldn't turn it off. I
Did you
wish I
talk to people about it? Did you try to articulate it to friends or?
I don't think so. It's kind of like a downer, right? Like how was your day? Well, I was anxious for like 45 minutes because my phone rang.
Yeah,
Like people don't,
you just shove it
I just shoved
down.
it down and then I, didn't eat for 3 weeks 2 months ago because I got a puppy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
comes
think,
out in other
yeah,
ways.
right. I think I was uptight always. My
A little
shoulders,
on edge. Yeah.
yeah, my shoulders
Mm-hmm.
were probably up to my ears all the time. I couldn't ever fully relax. Is my phone on? What's happening? What's he doing? And even if I wasn't waiting for the call, I was wondering what he was doing. I was wondering, is this going to come for me? Is my mom okay? Like it was a state of unrest.
So I don't know if this is anticipatory grief, but like, what about the grief of like when he couldn't be at your wedding and things like that? Is that just grief? Like there's a lot of
Is that
that.
simple grief?
Yeah, there's a lot of that we experience in this community of like they're here, but they're not here in the way. Like, for example, my mom, when Liam was born, I mean, we had the beautiful moment. She
Right,
ran into the
right,
room, but that's not what was in.
right. That's not what you
That
pictured.
wasn't the plan.
Right.
So, like, I feel like that was a lot of my grief too. Was like, this doesn't look how it was supposed to look.
That's not anticipatory grief though. That's like grieving what was or what is.
It's just grief.
It's just grief.
Grief.
It's just GG. It's
Okay.
just G squared.
Okay.
But I think it's important to distinguish like the anticipatory grief is exactly what it is. Like you're anticipating something that's not good.
Right.
You're not anticipating fun. You're anticipating more sadness.
And it starts immediately when you get that diagnosis.
I think it actually starts when you notice something is different.
Oh, okay.
When you're like, huh,
Is the other shoe gonna drop? Like, what
yeah,
is this?
right. And then you start grieving, well, 3 weeks ago I didn't notice that. And then, oh, this is new. Oh, now you're doing this.
I just feel like the changes were so subtle that I didn't like I had a feeling of uneasiness, but I couldn't name it. It was almost like I was trying to pretend it wasn't happening.
Yeah, I think I did too. I mean, the lamps plus was when it really like
Right,
something isn't right.
of course. But like Kelly told me, my bestie, once we finally got the diagnosis, I remember her telling me, "Remember you had lunch with your mom, earlier this year, and you were telling her about something at work, and then you told me that you felt like she didn't care." And I'm like, I don't even remember that. Like, I think I was just like trying to pretend like it wasn't really.
Well, it's also like a coping strategy. Denial is like so common. It's so common
And
when there's
everybody,
trauma or grief. Like, I just would rather not. Thank you. It's a very normal and appropriate response to something bad is to be like, nope.
like, she's just having a bad day,
Yeah, she's just going through a midlife crisis. She's,
depressed.
yeah, her kids left the nest,
Right,
whatever.
right, right.
But I think when you get the diagnosis, like they're not going to get better. So kick in, right? You're just waiting. You're just in purgatory. And that's, I think, a better word for anticipatory grief. You're just living in purgatory. You're just, what's next? How much more crappy is this going to get?
Do you feel like I need the glasses for this one, but
Okay.
um do you feel like you grieved yourself?
I think after he died
Yeah.
is when I was like, oh man, I lost that time.
Yeah.
And it's not that I lost that time. That sounds so self absorbed. Like, ugh, I can't believe he put me through that.
I didn't take it that way.
But like, I met Nick, and it's like that time
That
of your
time was
life.
filled with that.
Yeah, that time is colored by that.
Right.
My best friend got married in Vegas. My dad was there. Nick was there, but like I was so uber focused on
Yeah.
like
Yep.
something, you know?
Yep.
And when I think about the wedding, I like have these flashes of him like walking into the ceremony and looking at him like, you're not here, you know? So everything was colored by that. The drive out to Vegas, the drive hit. And then I don't think I realized all of it. All of it was coming in. It was such an input until he died. And I was
And you're
able
like,
to
I have
like
so much
just
stuff.
Like, I remember the first time, there was a time, and I've told this in my story, and I don't love this part of it, but that I didn't see my dad for a good chunk of time. Um, and it was when I was pregnant with my first boy. And then up until he was probably, I didn't physically see him up until he was probably like 6 or 7 months. Um, but my mom and Nick took Max in to see my dad, and I decided I couldn't see him yet. And they came out and they showed me a picture, and I remember it so vividly. We were like at this little park at the end of the street. My dad lived in this care facility here, and the park was down there, and my mom was like, do you want to see a photo? And she turned the camera, and my dad, as I knew him, always had a mustache no matter what, never shaved his mustache off, and he had shaved it off, or his facility had shaved it off. And I remember I like slapped the phone and I just like broke down. I'm like, that's not him. And then I saw a picture of like my mom and my dad and my son. And I remember thinking, like, what is this? I don't want to look at this, but also I do. and I want to go in there, but I don't want to go in there. And then all of that, like I had to go through again after he died. So I like relived it, you know? But I think that's the only way to make peace with it. And my dad used to tell me this too. Another Frankieism, so hang on
Right.
tight. It happened, it's over. He used to tell me that all the time. It happened, it's over.
Tell me more.
So, like, don't dwell on it. It's done. It's done. It happened, it's over. We're moving forward. We're onward.
I'm surprised you haven't said that to me yet.
It happened, it's
In
over.
5 years.
So, I just think grief is such a, you know how I feel about it. But living through a progressive disease, doesn't have to be FTD, any type of progressive disease where you're going on a playing field. We're here, and then you have a drop, and then you're on a new playing field, and then you have a drop, and then it's new again. Nobody can prepare you for that. And I don't think there's tips or advice
Right.
or do this, do that. I think this is something that is, number one, incredibly individual. The way I handle it is very different than X, Y, and Z. But I do think if you shove it down and you don't feel that feeling in that moment, you are adding to the anticipation of what is next. You have to feel it. And it sucks. And then when the person dies, you're going to feel it again.
Right.
But it's the price you pay for loving someone.
That's beautifully said.
That's what I think. And I think it's tough. Nobody wants to be like, well, here's another day of grief.
Right.
But I think it's the work. That's what being human
I feel like
is.
that's what we've been doing together. Just trying to sift through it all. It's like you can't do it while you're in it.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you can try.
I think you're just depleted when you're in it.
Right.
You have no extra resource. I don't know if the resource is not the right word. You have no extra.
Like battery power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say earlier? Friendship conservation?
Energy conservation.
Yeah. Like you're conserving.
Right.
And I think you don't know that you're conserving. You think it's
You're just trying
normal.
to survive.
I
I
know.
remember one day my dad, I'll never forget, something happened and someone from my mom's like she had like a companion. Do you remember that time? And someone from that office like gave my dad a hard time about something. And my dad, who doesn't cuss that often, was like, I'm just trying to get through the effing day. Like, you have no idea what this is like. Like, we're just trying to survive.
But don't you think like we are even when we're not caregiving?
I mean, yeah. But like when he said it, it was just such a like raw thing of like,
sure.
I can't take one more thing. Like, I'm just trying to get through the day.
Yeah.
You remember those days. I remember going to work and being like, how am I going to deal with these insufferable humans that have no idea? I mean, some of them are lovely and still some of my closest friends. But some of them were the worst.
Well, I can grow up.
Some, like, I literally would sit in my cube
And cry.
and cry. Not shocking to anyone. But pretty awkward when you're in an office with some stuffy people and they come up and they think I'm just working on my computer and they tap my shoulder and I'm like, like, it was rough, man, trying to get through the day. I couldn't even concentrate. But I have a question.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, I was going to.
I will say I was anticipating so much doom, as we were saying, experiencing so much anticipatory grief. But something about grief that surprised me was there were a lot of things I didn't anticipate. Like I had a vision in my brain of like, wow, what is life going to be like without her?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what is that going to feel like? And like, how will I go on? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't anticipate how much grief I was going to feel seeing my family change and seeing, I don't know, just those moments that she wasn't a part of. I guess maybe I anticipated that a little bit. I didn't anticipate what was going to happen when my dad moved on. Like, I think I was so focused on, like, what's it going to feel like when she's gone, because she's gone and I don't have her anymore. But, like, I didn't prepare for all those other things.
I don't think you can. I think those are like, they have to hit you. I don't think you can be like, well, I'm going to put myself in a position of when I walk Brenny to kindergarten the first day and she's not there. Like, I'm going to put, I think some of it has to
Right.
really be happening.
But anxiety is like where you want to anticipate, you know?
Yes,
and no.
anxiety is when you're like, this is what it's going to be.
Right.
I know I'm already going to feel like this.
Yeah. I think I was very naive.
Well,
I mean, I am, like, in life.
Gary Kent, if you're listening, I'm a big Gary fan, but you are very sheltered.
Oh.
You
Yes,
couldn't watch The Real World. I'm sorry. You couldn't watch
I
Beverly
definitely
Hills
couldn't watch The Real World.
90210. You couldn't go to the mall by yourself.
I couldn't watch Austin Powers. I remember I watched it in someone's basement, and by the time I got home, my mom knew.
Oh, okay. I thought we were like dropping it. I was going to say, does Gary listen to
I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
But yeah, I was very naive about a lot of things.
I also think when you're in a situation like this, like where you're watching your loved one deteriorate piece by piece, it's like the human protective shield comes down and you're like, okay, so this is happening, but they're going to die and then I'm going to move on. And I know it's going to be like this. You like try to control the narrative. Like, this is what's coming and I'm going to be able, but there are little things that creep up. Like my dad's birthdays. I'm like, I used to think like they're going to be so difficult. And now they're like, we have Apu surprise and it's joyful. So I think it's the human response to grab the horse by the reins and this is what it's going to be. But
you don't know.
You have no idea.
You can't predict it.
You have no idea.
Because sometimes that birthday might be hard.
Sure. And that's okay that it's hard. It's
okay.
Yes. But I also think we don't know where our life is going to go. Like, we have family friends who had a baby last year. Like, she didn't plan that.
Right.
I didn't plan on getting Benny.
Yeah.
Or meeting you. So I just...
stars.
Yeah, it's written. I just think you gotta let it ride.
It's hard.
It's really hard. And people don't like to be uncomfortable. People don't like to feel the hard feelings. People don't like to talk about it. I don't want to talk about death. I don't want to know. But if you don't talk about it, it doesn't make it go away.
Right.
And that's, I think, a big lesson in all of this. Like, just because it's too difficult to talk about doesn't negate the fact that it's happening.
Right.
But
even if we don't talk about it, it's still happening.
Right. Happened, it's over. Okay, daughter? So I think there's a delicate balance. And I think when you're in it, when you're caregiving, when you're going through the motions and you're doing it day in, day out, you can't, there's no space. Your body's like, enough. And it shuts the door to what's next.
Right.
Except late at night when your brain starts to like, well, what's going to happen after this? Where are they going to go? What's...
Right.
But it doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't have to, because it's a natural response. I just think anticipatory grief is tricky. There's no manual. There's no way through it other than through it. But I think what's surprising is the little things along the way that like etch into your memory. You know? Like, I walk like Richard Gere.
Yeah,
you know,
like the things that pop back in.
But they're not always sad.
No.
That's the thing. Is like that's a question we get asked a lot. Like, is this how it's always going to be?
Right.
The feeling. Like,
Right.
when you think of your parents, do you only think of them sick?
So many people ask that.
And I do think there are days when, that's like all I see is the wheelchair and the biting and the chewy toys. And then there are days where I see him like putting his key in the lock and coming in the house. It just kind of depends where I'm at.
Yeah. I think that when I was caregiving for my mom and before we started this podcast, I just felt like I would never remember. I was so present with her, or trying to be, and this new person she was, that I couldn't go back there because she couldn't talk. I mean, she just was so different. And then I felt like when she died, I was grieving like those two people. Like I'd already felt like I had started grieving, of course, anticipating and grieving the mom I knew. But then I also was grieving this like sweet, frail woman that would like try and kiss Liam.
Right.
That wasn't it's so complicated to explain.
Right. No, I get it.
But it's just like,
I think one of the hardest parts of like the anticipating is the time between knowing like it's the end and then them actually dying. Like that time, those couple of days where the body like shuts down and all of that, like, I don't know, that part, you're literally like counting the breaths, like one, and then they do
I
that.
remember you were like, his oxygen is this, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I remember the hospice nurse, I think her name was Julie Doll. Also, yeah, she was a doll.
Okay. We're gonna go with that.
Yeah, like she was like, let's just turn it off.
Yeah.
Not the oxygen tank, but like you don't need to look at that. She was hospice.
Like so, we're going.
Yeah, this is the. But I think it's really important to know like that ends. You know, anxiety tells you like this is how it's going to be forever.
Yeah, I'm always going to feel like this. Yeah,
that portion, those days.
I'm like, yeah, I know anxiety. Yeah.
me. So left. I think that's a. I know for you it was very different, but like those moments, like of ushering him through, like he had a fever and like we would put the ice on his face, and to me it was like the most beautiful. It was hard and it was scary and I've never seen something like that before, but like it's so full of love.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you want to learn more about Remember Me, you can go to remembermeftd.com. We love getting new Instagram followers, so follow us on Instagram at Remember Me Podcast. And please consider joining our Patreon. It's a great way to support the podcast and get extra content. For example, our Patreon just got an extended version of this episode dropped a day early for them. So you can go to patreon.com/remembermecommunity. This podcast is produced by Rachel Martinez and Maria Kent Beers, and the beautiful music you hear is a song called So Damn Lucky by Billy